let's talk about the art of micro skilling. So I don't know about you guys, but a couple years ago, I realized a business model is not going to save me. A trendy new offer from someone teaching me how to do a TikTok drop shipping method is not going to save me. What's going to make me real money is skills. Skills are what allow you to win in any business model. And I thought about it for a second. I was like, you know what? If you took Hormozi and dropped him in any business model, the dude would make money. Not because of the model, but because he has skills. He knows advertising, sales, content creation, speaking, product development, team management, recruiting. He has skills. And so if we want to become that person who makes money no matter what they do, we have to become skilled. But that brings up the issue. How do we learn skills? And we've gone over the hyperlearning cycle, but I want to talk about a concept today that hopefully will free you from the overwhelm when it comes to learning skills. You see, a couple years ago, in 2022, I was reading this book called Mastery. And I was on a plane flying to Costa Rica for this vacation that I could not afford. It was actually a Christmas gift from my mother-in-law, and she was going to take us on this vacation because he knew we were broke and desperately in need of a vacation. And I'm sitting on this plane, and I'm thinking, how do I change my life and make some money? Because you ever felt just misery on a plane? Like you're sitting there with people you don't know, your feet are like scrunched up, you're like 3 hours in, and you're wondering whether this vacation was even worth it. That's where I was at when I was reading this book. I was like, you know what? I'm never flying again if I can't do first class. That was where my vibe was at. First world problems. But that's what I was thinking. I got to do something. And as I was reading Mastery, it went into all this detail of the best people in the world who create insane value and make an impact are masters at their craft. It's not some trick that gave them the fortune. It's literally 10,000 hours of blood, sweat, and tears into learning a skill, their craft. And that's when it hit me, like, I gotta learn skills. I have to. But how? How do I do it? And I've had 3 years of experience of trying to learn skills and failing, and I am no master by any means, but the skills that I've learned have helped me generate, I think, over $750K, maybe even more than that, online in the past year and a half. So pretty cool. Now, I didn't keep most of that money because I sucked. I sucked at saving, but the skills helped me make them. So I want to share with you one of the biggest concepts that give me a huge edge in learning skills. And it is called micro skills. And so if you take any skill you want to learn, let's say you're looking at marketing. How do you market something? How do you sell stuff online? You can break that down into micro skills. It fractals. So one micro skill might be copywriting. You might realize, exactly like I did, that if I cannot write compelling copy, if I can't write words that persuade people, how am I ever supposed to market? How am I ever supposed to make money with my own business if I can't write copy, if I can't write persuasive words? And so I was like, all right, I got to learn copywriting. And so that's one micro skill inside of marketing. But copywriting is its own big skill. And so in copywriting, there's all kinds of micro skills, like headlines, titles, thumbnails, sales pages, emails. Inside of those skills, inside of sales pages, you've got the headline, the VSL on the sales page. You've got the design of the sales page. You've got the hook or the lead. You've got the body copy, the offer stack at the bottom, the call to action, the story selling. So each one of these skills fractals into 4 other skills, and those fractal into 4 other ones, and those fractal into 5 other ones. And so it's all about figuring out the skill tree and starting with the micro skills. So when you break a big skill all the way down into these little fragments, about as small as you can get it, that's when you start to make progress very quickly because it's encouraging. You're making progress really, really fast. And so let me give you a live example of exactly how I'm doing this. So if you've seen my older videos from like a week ago, super old, right? I'm trying to learn how to speak. I want to become a fluent, intelligent, cool sounding speaker. And when I first started to learn this, it was daunting. because I'm like, I sound terrible. And these guys I'm listening to sound phenomenal. And I don't even know where to begin. And that's when you think about quitting. That's when most people quit. But the secret, once again, is developing the ability to break a big skill into micro skills. And so that's exactly what I did. I started to figure out what makes someone good at speaking. And I noticed there's a lot of different things. So there's volume, there's melody, meaning you're changing of pitch. So if I talk like this all the time, you guys probably won't watch these videos for very long. But if I talk like this and I bring it back down, that's melody. Also, okay, I've got them on the board because I'm learning this. Also, we have rate of speech, meaning the speed. If I speak super fast, I'm talking about things really quickly, you get lost in what I'm saying, it's hard to understand. But if I slow things down, very slow, extremely slow, you also get freaking bored. And then the other one is tonality, which is how you feel your words. And there's also body language when I'm speaking. So the things that I'm doing with my hands, what do I do with my hands? There's also humor. Hopefully that was funny. Those of you that know. And that's the art of micro-skilling. And so what you do is you just start with one of those skills. And so, for instance, I'm working right now on volume. I'm learning how to talk louder without having to just yell and strain my voice. And that's when you start to get obsessed because it gets so fun. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like we're all just a bunch of nerds. And video games hijacked our obsession, our potential. But when you bring that potential back onto real life, you start nerding out over real life and making some insane progress. And so recently, I've been learning the craziest stuff about volume under the speaking category, which is under the marketing and life category, which is under making money. You get what I'm saying? It's a micro skill. So I've been learning volume. And volume comes from how much air you breathe in. So breathing air right is like a micro skill under volume. It's also how you resonate the sound in your mouth. It's also raising the soft palate in the back of your throat to create a more, cave for the sound to bounce around before it leaves your mouth. It's also how you place your voice in your mouth, whether it's in like the back of your throat or it's at the very front. You guys can tell I'm nerding out. I'm having fun. But that's how you do it, guys, is you don't just look at this massive thing and start trying to learn speaking as a whole, because you can't. Speaking is just a bucket of micro skills. And if you learn these micro skills, not only is it fun, not only do you make progress insanely fast, but that's how you learn the big skill, is by just chunking it down. And so no matter what you're trying to learn right now, chunk it down as far as you can. Open up Miro, open up a notebook, and make yourself a skill tree. So whatever skill you're trying to learn, I want you to do this right now, for real. If you're trying to make some bread, trying to make some money, trying to make some progress in your life, stop and do this. Take action. Write the skill you want to learn at the top, and then break it down. What micro skills do I have to learn to achieve that skill set? And then break those micro skills down if you can. Break it down as far as you can until you all of a sudden have this very clear, very actionable list of micro skills you can learn in like a week, 2 weeks, a month, and start making some real progress. So that's the art of micro skilling. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully you learned something. If you're trying to make your first $1,000, man, this is the place to be because it's free. And I've got 3 playlists for you. I've got skills, beliefs, and getting clients. And so pick one of those playlists that you need and binge it. Make some money and come tell me about it so I can celebrate with you. And I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video.